I move for no man, no man, no man, no man, no man.
We'll call it a draw. Just a flesh wound, just a flesh wound, just a flesh wound.
What's up, Gordon?
Not much. What's up?
How many interviews have you done after your infamous slap?
Well, I just did the one or two for Flow. Other than that, I haven't done any.
Gotcha.
So what he's trying to say is this is a fucking exclusive.
Yeah, like Oprah.
Hey Gordon, this is Chris Algieri here. I think we met once in New York City when Frankie was filming some shit for Kimera, but otherwise, good to see you, bro.
So yes, of course.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
My pleasure. I broke out my old phone for this when my phone overheated the other day, and everyone thinks I'm dead on Instagram because Galvao made a statement and Zach K called out Brazil versus USA. I just haven't responded to anyone because my phone's been broken. So I broke out my old one for this.
Usually is online 24/7. So it's odd for him to be gone for even 30 seconds.
Dude, Gordon, you go hard on Instagram. Probably the hardest I've ever seen.
Yeah, I try to get to all the haters. I try to not let any of them. Someone posts a shitty comment, I just immediately attack them no matter what.
I love that. I try to get to all the haters.
Gordon just destroys them. Dude, so I think that this slap is probably the most interesting thing that's ever happened in the last couple of years in BJJ.
That's
really
sad, but maybe.
The crazy thing is, I just don't know what Andre, or not even Andre, I don't know what anyone expected to happen, in that situation. That was pretty the only reaction that I would expect from another human being. If I was they were getting chased and someone was calling them a pussy and they pushed them. So I don't know what he was expecting the outcome to be.
Maybe do you think that he was expecting to sell a match, or maybe create more of a buzz around it? Because it seems I don't think he was fairly surprised.
Yeah, he was. I don't think he knew the camera was there. That's the thing. It was really dark where we were. The camera was just there. It just happened to be there. The guy just happened to be. But I don't think that he planned to do that, or maybe he planned to do it, but I don't think he planned for it to be on the camera.
Did you see the camera?
I saw the camera, but I didn't think anything of it because I was just walking out to do the interview, and the Flow guys always walk around, and I saw him, and I was this is because he started saying stuff to me, and there was no cameras around, and it was dark, so I was this is kind of out of character for Andre because there's nothing to gain here, there's no cameras around, there's no one watching, so it's maybe he's actually mad, and then I was oh, he actually is mad.
So what do you think? What do you think was his game plan? Do you think that he just wanted to honestly approach you, or do you think he was just trying to sell a match?
I think he was honestly trying to approach me. I mean, the whole thing, the whole Atos thing is Gordon only talks shit online, but whenever he sees you in person, he's nice to you, which is true. So I think he was just assuming that he was gonna walk up to me and essentially punk me, and then I was just gonna walk away, and then he would go online later and talk shit, saying that he was in my face, and I didn't do anything about it after he started calling me a pussy and started shoving me, and I guess that just completely backfired, as we saw now. But I think that was his original goal, was just to punk me, and then to go home to Atos and be see, I was up in his face and he didn't do anything about it. So
it doesn't work out.
Boy, did that go wrong if that was his game plan.
It's one thing to do that at a weigh-in, there's press around and fucking it's kind of expected. There's two dudes that fucking don't like each other, but it's the way that it was done, in a fucking darker area when nobody was really around. That's what makes it so confusing to me that he didn't expect repercussions. You know what I'm saying? It'd be one thing if you push somebody at a weigh-in, maybe you expect to be pushed back or whatever the case may be. But if you fucking come up behind somebody while they're fucking walking away and you're yelling profanities and then you push them, I just don't see what else. I guess he like you said, he really just expected you to do nothing when that happened. I can't believe he put all of his eggs in that basket and didn't have a fucking backup plan though.
Yeah, I mean, it was, that's why it was weird because I knew it was I knew something was up because like nobody around because it was a closed door event. So it was basically just like 3 flow guys that were even in the area to see it happen. None of his teammates were there. There was no crowd. There was none of our teammates. None of the other competitors were there. Like it was like basically a room full of emptiness. And I was like, okay, this is strange because there's nothing really to get now because no one's watching. Like he must actually be mad about it.
After you slapped him, did you expect him to retaliate? Like after that moment.
Of course. So you have like a second or two after like the first smack where I'm like, okay, I guess we're fighting. Like he pushed me and I was like, okay, we're fighting. Let me start up the fight with a smack. And then I did that, and then he started backing away. He wasn't coming forwards into me anymore. And that's when I was like, okay, there's not going to be a fight. Like Andre just wasn't ready for this at all. And he started backing away, and I started trying to walk away again. And he started following me again. So I was like, okay, maybe he's changed his mind now and thought about it for a few more seconds and he wants to fight. And then he didn't want to fight. So
and then you doubled up.
You doubled up.
Yeah, it sounded like you slapped him again. You couldn't really see it. Did you actually hit him again?
Yeah, because he started walking towards me faster as I was trying to walk away again. And he was like right behind me. So I turned around and he was like talking. He's like, well, you gonna hit me? Where are you going? Where are you going? That's when I turned around and I was like, well, I'm right here. And I walked towards him, like, because he was like right up on me again, and he like didn't back away. And then I raised my hand to smack him, and as the smack came, it hit him a second time. And then he like, if I keep getting that close to him, he's just gonna keep smacking. The second time, he backed away, and then he didn't get close enough to actually hit me or for me to hit him. And then I started walking away to do the interview. And then when I actually got down and sat down to do the interview, then he started to get a little bit more more noisy, and that's when I had a full freak out and just started screaming at him because while we were alone, he didn't want to fight and wasn't saying anything. He was talking calmly. I mean, he's called me a pussy and shit like that, but he wasn't like yelling. But when I sat down to do the interview, and then he walked over to me, then he started to raise his voice a little bit and was like, pointing and kind of getting a little bit more aggressive than he was. And I had the full freak out. And then I calmed down again.
Did any of you guys see Andre's apology or no?
I did.
No, I didn't.
You did?
Yeah.
No.
Please fill me in. What happened?
Have you guys heard of anything?
Before me and Gordon talk, because we've already talked about it a little bit, I want to hear what Frankie's thoughts were on the post slap apology.
So it sounded like he was he was apologizing for like doing stuff that was out of character, and it seems like he was kind of selling a match and going about it like out of character. That's what he was trying to like portray. But then I feel like everything changed when he gave a 50% discount on his instructionals. So just everything went out the window at that point.
Oh man, that part was amazing.
Right then and there, I was like, what the
Guys,
fuck?
I'm so sorry, and 50% off my DVDs.
Fucking guy.
He was like kind of came off as sincere, but then he kind of lost everybody when he started promoting his Zatos online. So I didn't actually watch it. I just got cliff notes from everybody who did watch it. But that's kind of what the gist of. I read a few of the comments on some of the posts, and that's kind of where he lost everyone, I feel.
I mean, I think he was in the right. I think the only way to make amends with Jesus and his family was to offer the 50% discount on his DVD. What else does he do? Everybody knows discounted. Everybody knows Jesus loves discounted DVDs.
That's his religious offering to discount his DVDs. Homage to faith.
Yeah, that was like part of his apology. That's
the grand sacrifice.
What's great about the whole thing is that was like, very well rehearsed, like that was the best that he could come up with in like several days to like think about like planning a response. Possibly he has the money, supposedly to like pay somebody to like maybe put something together for him. English isn't his first language, right? But that was the best that we got.
You know what was impressive though? When he gave his apology in Portuguese, it was around 8 minutes, and then his apology in English was around 8 minutes as well.
Really?
Yeah. So
that's
that was
impressive.
that was,
I expected the apology in English to just be much shorter.
Yeah. So he probably thought about it.
Yeah.
I would have
don't
been
know.
more impressed if they did it in like 18 different languages. As to like all the fans all over the world.
Yeah, I was surprised that he started with Portuguese as opposed to English.
Gordon, so what do you think is going to happen now at this point? Is he like, is a match going to get done or
Doubt
what,
it.
what do you think?
I mean, I think it's less likely now that the match is going to happen. Sure. I mean, you never know, but I don't
Yeah.
think.
I would think people would pay more now to see it.
I think the important thing to identify here is like, so, you know, Andre's apologizing about a lot and things like that. It's like he put himself in this position because I think from the very beginning he wasn't interested in having a match with Gordon. But what he wasn't willing to admit was that Gordon is the best right now, right? So instead of allowing Gordon to say like, "Hey, I'm the king, I'm the best at this," Andre would come out and he would say, "Oh no, I'm the real king, I'm this, I'm that." And it's like, okay, well, if you want to say that, then you have to back it up with the match, right?
Yeah,
But he never wanted to do that. So then, like, what is Gordon left to do? Because he can't have a match with him other than to just talk shit. And then Andre's method of handling that was, all right, well, I'm not going to take the match, but maybe I'll just go shove him and see if I can get a fucking moral victory that way. I mean,
And get the shit slapped out of me, apparently.
Gordon, did you ever practice that slap before? You had some fucking rotation on that bad boy. I think you even wobbled.
I'm pretty sure I smacked a few people in like street fights before, but I've never formally practiced it.
he does have some bear paws for hands, Gordon. Gordon's got some fucking heavy hands, dude.
Yeah, dude. I mean, the guy kind of was wobbled by that.
Yo, if you got fucking meat hooks for hands, you don't need to hit any. You need to punch anybody. You can open hand slap people all day long.
Gordon, was that the same hand that got fucking run through a fucking electric bicycle before ADCC? Nice. Nice.
And the bike broke.
Extra intensity.
And the bike broke, right?
Dude, right before ADCC, he was like, so him and Natalia fucking have these electric bikes that they would ride into Henzo's with. And I guess, like, what was one of them broken or something?
Dude, it was the last day.
Hey guys, if you've been enjoying our content and want to help us out, hook us up with a review on iTunes and subscribe to our channels, YouTube and iTunes. Thanks. It
was the last day before I was going to take the bikes in, because it was like almost winter time. So it was like before ADCC was September, like late September. It started to get cold. So it was the last day I was going to take the bikes in, or last day before I was going to put the bikes away for the winter. So I was going to take them to the gym. I was going to take them home, take them to the bike shops to get them serviced, and then put them in storage for the winter. Like literally the last day. As we're driving to the gym, riding to the gym, her bike gets a flat tire. So the bike shop, one of the bike shops is like 3 blocks away, and I didn't want to wheel it on the flat tire and fuck up the rim and the tube of the tire. It was like just a nail. It could have been patched. So I'm like trying to carry this thing like from the back, like wheel it along on the front wheel. My lower back is just killing me. Like we get like 2 blocks there, we have like 1 more block to go, and my lower back is just on fire. So I'm like fucking furious. I'm sweating. I'm like, this is the last day. I'm like cutting weight. I was like just so angry. I was like, fuck this. So I take it, and it's a Super 73, so they're pretty heavy with the batteries on them and everything. So I take it by the back fender, the front handlebars, and I was like, fuck this. I'm going to pick it up and put it on my shoulders and carry it the rest of the way. As I go to pick it up, like, I didn't realize that it was still on, and my arm like hits into the throttle, sucks my hand in between the fender and the tire, and just rotates like 30 miles an hour in my hand. And I couldn't drop it already like up on my shoulders. So like I had to like take it up and over my head. I couldn't drop it backwards because like the way I was holding it. So I had to like take it forwards over my head and put it down while I was like spinning on my hand. So I spun on my hand for like 3 seconds. Then finally I put it down. I put it out on the floor. I fucking kick it like in the middle of the street. Bike standing down looking at me. That's like just standing there like this. I just kicked the bike in the middle of the street. I kick it like 3 more times on the ground. And then I just like walk like 3 blocks away and like disappear. And some guy like pulls his car over, gets out of his car. He's like, "Oh my God, are you guys okay?" And she's like, "Yeah, he just freaked out and hurt himself." And I was like, then I came back, my hand was all fucked up. I like went to like some store and got ice for it. Like it was all like swollen and scraped up. And
Let me tell you guys.
You didn't have any breaks, right?
No, I broke it. It broke.
Definitely. Bro,
broke.
It literally looked like Gordon fucking stuck his hand into a lawnmower blade. Like his hand was like purple and fucking swollen. When he told me that happened, I looked at his hand. I was like, oh my God, like he's fucked. I was like, there's no way he's gonna fucking compete like this. But he like, when I asked him about it, he was like, all right, like whatever. I'm gonna fucking keep training and fucking go. And I was like, all right, dude. He's just got a fucking, it's just mangled fucking hand. You know that hand? Did you guys ever watch Scary Movie?
Yeah.
The one dude that's got like that fucked up mangled ass hand? That's what it fucking looked like.
Gordon, do you have a video of your hand?
I do, yeah. I gotta find it. It's on my old phone. But I definitely have it. I actually still have scar tissue. So I broke my hand and I tore a ligament that like runs from my wrist to my hand. I still have scar tissue in my hand. Like my hand's like permanently swollen from it. But it was like, not only was it swollen, but the tire was spinning on it. It's like the entire top of my hand was just like complete bare skin. And then they asked me about it at ADCC. I'm like, yeah, I had a bike accident and I fucking broke my hand like 2 days before I was supposed to compete. So they're like, how'd you do that? I'm like, I don't want to get into it. I don't want to talk about it.
Dude, you need to get that. You need to get that out of your phone in the highest definition possible and store it, because you're gonna need that for your documentary.
Yeah.
That's gonna be like Jordan's flu game.
We need that for this podcast too, because that's gonna be a good visual.
I was like, the best part is I was gonna like fly like the next day. So I was gonna fly, and then I wasn't gonna see John for like 2 days. So I was like just waiting to tell John. I'm like, oh, he's gonna be so fucking pissed. I was like, let me just wait to tell John until I get to California, and then finally when I show him, hopefully I'll just load up on Advil and it won't be as swollen. And then I got to California. It was still really bad, but it was like half the size of when it initially happened. And then I finished my first training session, and John was like, okay, it should be all right. And I was like, oh, thank God he's not fucking.
Have you guys heard of? Have you guys seen that the Jordan flu game, where he had like 100-degree fever? He had like food poisoning.
Yeah.
And they won the game. Like he made like, I don't know, like 46 or 50 points.
That was good. I watched that documentary. And dude, I had food poisoning the day before I was supposed to compete as well. So I fucking broke my hand. I didn't even think I was going to be able to do ADCC. And then like 3 weeks before, I just started from Monday to Monday, I had like 1 week where I just like, my knee like just got me through. And I was like, all right, my knee's going to be okay, hopefully. And then I fucked up my hand like a week before. And then I showed up the day before and I got food poisoning. And like couldn't eat the entire, I slept for like 18 hours the day before because I was so fucked up from food poisoning. And then I woke up the next day, like empty stomach, like I was like 8 pounds underweight, and I was like, all right, let's fucking do this.
Nice.
I had the flu before one of my fights at the Garden a couple years ago, and literally I was like, all right, I can beat this guy no matter what. Like I just have to go out there and just fucking fight for as hard as I can for as long as I can. I got to like the 6th round. I was like, I just won the last 6 rounds, the 10-rounder. I'm like, I got this fight won. And then I got headbutt, I got cut, and I was just like, all right, fuck it. I'm going to get to the end that I win. It was definitely not a Jordan-esque performance at all. But definitely not the same thing as a fucking Jordan flu.
It's like, well, it wasn't,
Does it get better once you start like sweating?
No.
Or no? It gets worse?
No, you feel fucking...
Dude, it's just awful the whole time if you're competing sick. I've had strep a bunch of times when I competed. It's fucking terrible, man.
When you have a fever and your body temperature rises, everything gets worse. Like it's not like you get moving. It's not like a cold. You got to work through it. If you have a fever and your body temperature rises, your heart rate starts pumping, everything gets worse.
And then when you're done, competing, the calm down from that is just crazy.
I couldn't leave the shower because I was so cold. I had to get carried to the
shivering and shit.
I stayed in bed for 3 days. It was a fucking nightmare.
Awful, man.
The good news is that the first day, so I had food poisoning on Friday. Saturday was the easy day. So Saturday I only had 2 matches. So I kind of like got over it on Saturday. And then by Sunday I was like pretty good to go to do the last 2 matches and the 4 absolute matches.
Oh, that worked out.
It worked out, yeah. So, how's your stomach doing?
Cool. I wanted to ask you about that too, because Gordon, I'm actually a clinical nutritionist, and I saw your last couple posts. And I was very interested in what's going on.
Yeah, so I'm just I actually just had my last phone call with one of the doctors today. They're pretty sure I have gastroparesis, where your stomach doesn't empty properly because your stomach's supposed to contract and push the food through into your intestines. And when you have gastroparesis, it doesn't contract and push the food through, so it just sits in your stomach. So that causes the nausea. And then when you eat more food, it just piles on top of that and just gets stuck in your fucking stomach for longer than it's supposed to.
You get indigestion like all the time.
Yeah. So they're pretty sure that's what it is. And there's a couple medicines that they want me to experiment with and try and see how they work. So I'm gonna start those one this week hopefully, and then see how that goes. And then if it doesn't work, then I'm gonna try the other one.
So what are you thinking is the cause of that? Like, what's the root cause? Because that a lot of things can cause that.
It's largely unknown. They don't I talk to like so many different GI doctors now. They don't really know what the cause. Like most people who have it are either people who are like addicted to opioids and have nerve damage in their stomach somewhere, or someone who had really bad food poisoning at one point. Which I mean, it's just out of nowhere for me. Really bad food poisoning at one point, and then they have nerve damage in their stomach. For me, it started when I had recurring staph infections in 2018, and I was on oral antibiotics like all the time. Like they gave me Bactrim 10 days the first time, and then like I got better, and then like a week later I got staph again, a real bad staph infection, and I was on Bactrim again for a full 2 weeks. And like day 10 of day 14, I just started to feel so nauseous, like all day long, everything I would eat. And then it just never got better from there. It's been 3 years. So maybe it was that, but they don't know for sure. But they're pretty sure that's what it is now.
For the listeners at home, Bactrim is a super strong
Antibiotic.
Antibiotic that is like it just kills your gut. It kills everything. It kills all the bacteria in your lower intestines. I mean that definitely could be something. I mean,
yeah. So I mean, I tried probiotics and everything. And there's like it kind of gets like better and worse. Like sometimes it's okay, like it's manageable, and then sometimes I have like a month where it's just miserable. So I've been going up and down for the last few years, just doing what I can. Like anything fried, like any cheeseburgers or red meat, like steaks especially, like things that are hard to digest, they just sit in my stomach forever. So if I eat a steak, like the next 3 days, I'm like fucked up. I'm like can't eat anything.
That
so.
Sucks.
And how much do you like steak?
Steak is good. But now I'm just so nauseous all the time that I don't even look forward to eating. Every bite, it's like fuck, kill myself.
So what Gordon used to eat, me and Gordon used to go to McDonald's, and McDonald's for a short period of time had like a family pack, it was called, for like $14.99, and this shit would have like fucking 3 Big Macs and like fucking 40 chicken nuggets and like a bunch of so like we used to buy like 3 family packs and then just fucking eat those. So that's what Gordon would be eating if he had a fucking proper
awesome.
gut.
Have you guys ever discussed the origin of the Garry Tonon diet on this podcast?
No, we have not.
But not the origin. We've discussed his diet very, very often.
Yeah.
Do tell.
So I'm like 18 at the time, and I'm teaching at Brunswick at Gary's school. And one night on Facebook, I posted like a picture of a Domino's pizza pie, and I was like, just got finished with some hard training, about to down this pizza pie. Gary calls me like 10 minutes later, screaming at me, furious. He's like, you're a teacher. You're supposed to be helping these people get in shape and live a healthy lifestyle. You can't be fucking posting pictures of Domino's pizza. So I'm like, oh shit, sorry. Like I totally get it. I won't do anything. So then like a year later, Gary just starts posting like pictures of fucking cheeseburgers and shit and hashtagging Garry Tonon diet. So he essentially just shut me down from posting anything that's unhealthy, and then just made this fucking Garry Tonon diet up, and everyone's like, yeah, it's a Garry Tonon diet.
And it caught on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
what an asshole.
So when I first started like teaching and stuff like that, Tom DeBlas was like my first instructor, and I learned like about how to run a school for the most part from him, right? So I wasn't really a professional grappler. I was just like, there was really no professional grappling scene back then. Metamoris like just started to become a thing. Everything else was you just compete for you pay money to fucking compete. Like there was no like nobody was fucking making money competing. So the majority of my income came from running a school. You know, like that's what I was doing. So the way Tom taught me was to like keep this like crystal clean fucking public image, and like, you know, the idea of like eating unhealthy and these sorts of things, like you're supposed to be this role model for these other people who are trying to lose weight and get in better shape and stuff. So in my head, I wanted to do like everything fucking perfect and have like a perfect public image and all these things, because that's what Tom told me I needed to do. But in my heart, like it actually hurt me to do those things, because I knew it just wasn't like me. You know what I mean? Like I hated the idea that I had to hide like who I was for real and like to the real world. So it took me a while to like develop my own persona on social media. Before that, it was all just very clean cut. Like, hey, I'm a jiu-jitsu instructor. I love jiu-jitsu, and that's fucking it. And honestly, most of the jiu-jitsu world was the same for a long time. Like nobody was really edgy or talking about anything fucking. It was all about respect, discipline, all these fucking sorts of things. Then the professional jiu-jitsu world starts fucking popping off. And, you know, just like fucking mixed martial arts, I mean, you got to fucking promote yourself and be a fucking personality for anybody to give a shit. These guys in their professional grappling promos with their fucking dorky, like, yeah, I eat mostly vegan, and occasionally I put some chicken in my salad, and that's what I eat most of the time. And I'm like, dude, you're fucking 205 pounds shredded jacked. You do not fucking eat chicken, a little bit of chicken in your fucking salad every day. I know that for a fact. Like you're fucking eating steak and burgers and shit like that. So when I made my promo for the same event, when I saw all of this, I was like, oh, I'm going to make a fucking promo like where I just eat terrible, terrible food. And after that, I decided to just make that part of the public persona. I mean, I did for a very long stretch of time genuinely eat like just absolutely terribly, like fast food every single fucking day, gas station food every single fucking day. I mean, that was at least 5 to 6 years of my life.
Burgers and ass.
But
Garry
Gordon,
Tonon
yeah,
diet.
burgers and ass. Gordon is 100% right, though. I was like calling him, yelling at him, you know, for posting fucking bad food and shit like that on his Instagram.
But were you doing that to fuck with him, or were you serious?
No,
at the time?
it was genuine like advice. I'm like, dude, you teach at the school. I need you to fucking represent the school and fucking be a good role model. All these sorts of things.
Oh, how the times have changed. Holy shit.
Yeah, man.
Gary spent like 5 years like just eating food from like Wawa and like any fast food and like Wawa. And the one day he comes in to a morning class and he's late and he just looks miserable. And John's like, "What's wrong, buddy?" He goes, "I just spent 15 minutes in my driveway dry heaving. My stomach is on fire." And I was like, "What's wrong?" And he's like, "I don't know." So he goes to the doctor, and he ends up like his stomach is all fucked up from like all the like fast food and the soda he drinks like every single day. And he's like, "Yeah, I can't have anything carbonated now for the rest of my life. Otherwise, my stomach just starts killing me."
So there was a period of time where I was drinking about 72 ounces of Mountain Dew a day.
Ugh.
Yeah. Mountain Dew is my thing. So my thought process was, it's like, well, you know, because I really loved caffeine. So I would just fucking down energy drinks and shit. My thought process was, you know what? I'm getting a little too heavy on the caffeine. I've got to limit that. So instead of having coffee and energy drinks, I'm just going to stick to Mountain Dew. And, but in order to keep a similar caffeine content, I had to just fucking drink like 4 Mountain Dews a day.
So did you get like a sugar crash? That must have been insane.
No, sugar wasn't the problem. I should have gotten diabetes for sure, but I think I'm in too good shape for that. But
I think Gary found cocaine and then he figured it.
Yeah, I found cocaine and I was fine. No, the sugar didn't bother me. What fucked up, I think the carbonation and shit just fucked with my stomach. At the same time, I had some injuries back then where I was taking a lot of Advil. So I'm just taking like fucking like 3 Advil every 6 hours and pumping 72 ounces of fucking soda into my body every day. So my stomach was just getting so pissed off, dude. The endoscopy didn't go that bad. They just said like I had gastritis. So it's just like mild stomach irritation. They gave me Nexium. So I took Nexium for like 2 weeks, and then I took it for 2 weeks, another month after that. And then pretty much after that, I took the Nexium for, you know, on and off for a little bit. It straightened itself out. I also started eating a lot better and stuff. So I still eat shitty a lot, but, you know, not quite on the same extreme as I used to.
Well, you said that now in Puerto Rico, you have to eat like more whole foods.
Right? Just
like
because
healthier.
you just go shopping and fucking, there's not as many options for me to fucking get terrible food here. Like
this guy's basically fucking carnivore now. He doesn't eat steaks all day. It's awesome.
There's fast food places everywhere here.
Yeah, but they got 30-person lines, bro.
That's true. That's true.
I'm not a line waiter.
And
Fuck
you
that
have some more time.
Fast food and hates lines. And he hates lines far more than he loves fast food. So there's a
Absolutely a fact.
I swear to God, there's a Krispy Kreme here. Every time we pass this Krispy Kreme, there's no less than 200 cars waiting to go through the drive-thru.
They wrap around the parking lot. You can't even imagine it. In order to get a full view of how many cars are there, you would need to fly a fucking helicopter over this fucking Krispy Kreme.
You imagine that Krispy Kreme is like the most profitable restaurant over in Dorado?
It makes no sense. I mean, listen, I've had Krispy Kreme. It's good. It's not fucking 200 cars good.
It's not that
It's
good.
not that good.
Especially consistently eating fucking donuts.
Jesus, man. People are wild.
The same American fast food down there? Is it all like, is it Wendy's and Burger Kings and McDonald's and shit?
There's that stuff. They have some stuff that's like not where I see there's a lot more fried chicken places out here. But they do have that. They do have McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, that sort of shit.
Did you guys run into the Paul brothers yet?
No, did they officially move?
I did, yeah, I did.
Oh, you saw them?
They were at dinner at Positivo at one of the restaurants.
Okay, nice.
They were like behind us. We were sitting like here, and they were like 10 feet behind us. So they don't know who I am. Talk to them,
okay.
Your biggest mistake was instead of slapping Galvao, you should have slapped one of them. That would have gotten way more press.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Would have gone super viral.
And that would have definitely turned into a fight rather than Galvao, who's not going to fight him.
What I want to do is I want to take a picture with them and be like, and post on my Instagram and be like, if Logan and Jake join the team, they're guaranteed to beat Dylan because everybody from our team beat Dylan.
Ooh, that would have been awesome, man.
Amazing.
So how nice is it not to drive all day over in PR?
Good. I mean, we still drive it. It's far. I mean,
yeah.
The gym where
I'm still driving a bit because we don't have the gym set up yet.
Oh shit. So like, what's your take on PR? Like, are you enjoying it over there or what?
You want to go me? Okay.
Yeah. I hear Garry enough, man, already.
My thoughts on PR. Well, number one, the first thing you notice is just a huge change in scenery. I don't really like the city. I like more nature. So you have the beach 5 minutes away. You have everything you need. You have mountains. You have jungles. You have waterfalls. You have the beach. I mean, you have pretty much everything besides snow. So I mean, it's just the island itself is beautiful. It's definitely a big change of pace. Like going anywhere in the world, I feel from New York, like you're gonna just feel like everyone's just very
in slow motion.
But it's like way like you feel way more in Puerto Rico because you're on the island. You're on an island now, so like everyone's like people say like New York to Florida is like a big change because everyone moves slower. It's like twice as bad when you move to Puerto Rico. Like trying to get anything done just takes 4 times as long as you expect it to take. That's why there's 30 car lines outside of every fast food restaurant.
Because everybody's slow.
Like I've been trying to open a bank account for 10 weeks. I still cannot open a bank account. I swear to God, it's been 10 weeks. So then they're just like, I'm like, yeah, I want to open like a high volume account here, a business account, and a personal account. And like, if you walked into any bank, like anywhere, they wouldn't let you leave.
Yeah, that'd be that day. Yeah.
Like we'll get to it when we get to it. Like we have one lady who works with the business accounts, and she's on vacation for the next 3 weeks. I'm like sick. It's been 10 weeks, and I can't. I'm trying to get.
Imagine walking up to somebody and being like, "Hey, I'd like to hand you $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like you
money.
to hold on to my $1 million. You're gonna get to keep it. You can make investments with it. You can do your thing, but occasionally I'm gonna need some of that." And them not immediately jumping on that opportunity and being like, "Yes, I would like your money. We're gonna do everything we could possibly do." That's why, like, some people will say that, like, "Oh, you could just pay people off out here." I honestly don't think money motivates people here at all. I don't think they give a fuck. Like, money is not what they're after, clearly, because they do everything they can to not make money here.
To not make money.
My buddy moving, and the movers were just going like insane, like just insanely slow. Like they just were like just basically there's 30 guys that are just standing around, and like I'll give you guys extra, just get it done faster, and nothing worked. So then finally he's like, listen, you guys finish this in this time frame, I'll get you all 6 pack, and then boom, it was done. Like they just go, oh shit.
So alcohol is the best currency over there.
That's the answer, I think.
That's amazing.
Booze.
I'm writing that down. that's the move in Puerto Rico.
It's almost like they forgot that they could take the money that you're giving them and turn it into alcohol if they want to. Yeah. It's like, no, it's not good enough.
That's not
you don't accept your fucking Monopoly money.
Hey, did you see John Danaher during the whole scuffle? Did you ever see like his facial expression?
I did, yeah.
Fucking stone face. So awesome.
I've seen like a bunch of memes about it. He was like stone faced, like just looking like dead behind the eyes.
I mean, dude, you got to remember, like, this is what John did for a fucking living. You know what I mean? Like, John did that shit for decades.
Yeah, he was a bouncer,
so, like,
right?
Yeah. Just bouncing. So it's like.
So he has to keep like that poker face, like
on the fucking job, you know.
Oh, is that what his background is? He's perfect for that whole fucking situation.
Yeah. No, he bounced for. Dude, John was fucking teaching us. Just how to defend against like multiple attackers the other day, like how to deal with that, and just in case like we get jumped now.
Mm-hmm. Are you getting a lot of
like street?
He's got fucking systems for everything, dude.
He's got a system for everything, huh? Gordon, are you getting a lot of hate from Brazilians, like even more after that?
Well, it kind of goes either way. So there's definitely people who hate, who are like really like freaking out now. But there's also guys who are just like people who didn't like me, who just fell in love with me after that. Overall, because of what happened. But I think that there are definitely some people like I get like if you look at like Flo's comments, like no matter what they post, especially if it's about me, like it's like 600 shit emoji comments or like middle fingers. Like Flo is taking some real heat lately, but I think that. From what I can understand, directly after it happened, this is before Andre made the video, but directly after it happened, it seemed to me as though all of Brazil, like, basically disowned him. Like, the Brazilians were really ragging on him for what happened. And they kind of, like, were like, okay, like, Gordon's not just a guy who just fucking talks shit online, and you can't bully him. But I think there's a little bit of both. I think there's definitely a little bit of hate. The people who hated me, some of them hate me more, and some of them are kind of fans now, or at least respect me a little bit more. So I think it was good.
Do you?
I think Gordon is probably at the highest point of which people will respect and admire him at this current moment, and it's all downhill from here.
Yeah, right now. Gordon takes no shit, man. He'll fucking pimp slap a bitch real quick.
Yeah. Basically, in order to maintain this level of likeness, he's going to have to pick a different person to slap probably like once a month.
Yeah, I was going to say once a month would make sense. With the way the news cycle works here, yeah.
I'm just going to do it to everyone who's just hated more than me. I have to smack Dylan, I have to smack AJ, I have to smack like everyone who.
Nothing's better than like fucking talking shit or arguing or like. Getting even with like people that are seen as the heel, like people that are seen as like people that people don't like already. It's just so much fun taking those matches because use just limitless shit talk that you can fucking do and nobody's gonna care. Like not a single person is gonna stand up for them, which is great.
That's like the whole match where I just went Neon Face versus Halleck and everyone was just pumped about it.
So Halleck, if you guys don't know who that is this guy who he got handed over Metamoris after it was done a couple times, which was like the first big professional jiu-jitsu show. And his brothers were running it at first, and they handed it over to him. But basically, after he was handed it, he fucked a bunch of people out of their money. So he basically like didn't.
He's the one with the freckles, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he's the one that made that rap video.
Yes.
G and a G.
G and a G.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I remember.
Chris, you looked at that a little funny. I highly recommend you don't watch it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna right like as soon as we're done.
You're gonna wish.
So sorry, what were you saying, Gary?
No, I
about
was
Alex?
just saying that just to so you guys know who he is, because some people might not know who that is. Yeah, he like took it over, fucked a bunch of people out of their money. Like he held shows, said he was going to pay people X amount of money, and like didn't pay them. And not only the people that were competing, like photographers and like videographers and shit that did the show, promoter, like all different kinds of people. He basically just held the show, pocketed the money, and didn't pay anybody.
Fucking.
So-
A.
Everybody
Is
hated that guy.
So is that promotion dead?
Oh yeah, that's long gone. They probably still have an active Instagram, but they're not hosting matches anymore.
Gordon, are you campaigning for Felipe Pena rematch?
Dude,
'Cause
I've tried to fight the guy so many times.
I've seen
It's
that.
just like, no matter what I try to do, it's just always something on his end that doesn't allow the fight to happen. Even the first time trying to compete against him was like misery. Like we agreed on a no time limit match, and I like did my whole camp for the no time limit match, and then like a week before I was supposed to fight, he's like, "Can we just do an hour?" And I was like, "Can we do an hour EBO overtime rules?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure." And then like 2 days before, he was like, "Can we do 30 minutes? 30 minutes instead?"
So he kept on changing.
So the first time he kept on changing rules, and now, it's all, well, your first time I fought you in the rules that you wanted. I'm like, no, you didn't. Like you kept changing all the rules, and I just went along with it because I just wanted to fight you. So now it's either he's busy or I have to cut a bunch of weight. Well, now my stomach's fucked up, so he wanted to fight me at 210 when I was like 230, but now I'm back to 210 again, so we can do that. He's like, you have to cut weight. It has to be this. Has to be this rule. It has to be IBJJF with heel hooks. And I'm just like, oh, fine. Then as the date approaches and the contract comes, he's like, oh, sorry, I have to teach seminars or something. So it's just impossible to negotiate with that guy. He wants like $100,000 or fucking $80,000, whatever he asked for, which no one's gonna pay. So it's just like one thing or another. He's always out. So hopefully ADCC lets me do the division this year. Kind of on the opposite side of me because he's second, him and kind of in the second and third seeds. So hopefully it makes it past Kynan and then we fight. But that's pretty unlikely.
Where's the event going to be held at? Do you know? Or there's still no venue?
It's gonna be for ADCC. It's Thomas and Mack, Vegas.
Nice.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Thomas and Mack Arena, yeah.
It's a nice venue. Really nice venue.
Yeah,
Gary,
it's
are you
big.
going to make it? Are you going to be on there? Gary?
Talking to me? Oh,
Yeah.
Sorry, I thought you were talking to me. Yeah, if it depends. It all has to line up for the fight. You know, like if I'm supposed to be fighting around that time, no. If I can make it, I'll make it. But it's tricky, man. I mean, I said that the last time for ADCC also, and then it turned out like, you know, I had some contract negotiations that weren't going well. And I knew I wasn't going to be fighting for a while, so I was like, yeah, fuck it, let's do this. So, I mean, I love grappling, man. I'd love to compete if in a perfect world where I knew like no injuries were going to happen and it wasn't going to delay me from fighting and everything like that. Like I would be doing every competition I possibly could in jiu-jitsu as well as fighting, but it just doesn't work like that, man. You know, there's too many variables, too many things can happen. So I gotta, especially now where I'm basically in position to fight for the title next. I mean, I got to be real careful with what I'm doing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm trying to convince Gary to cut to 145 because him and Davi Ramos are not in the same weight class.
I don't know, dude. I've seen your fucking kneecaps. I don't think you're going to be anywhere near my weight. Some fucking knobby ass knees.
Big ass knees. Gordon, when's your next match?
March 26th against Wagner. So that should be fun. Free money is good money, so.
Like what? So what match really entices you besides the Felipe Pena rematch? Like what would be like your
I mean, all the
essential
matches are pretty much the same at this point. I'm not even like too concerned with Felipe. For me, it's not really about what everyone else thinks. Like as long as I know that I can beat the fuck out of someone, I don't really need anything else. I don't really need anybody else to believe that. Like if a guy, there's been tons of guys who have beat me at lower belts, who came into the gym and we've trained together and it wasn't even competitive years later. So that's all I really needed. I don't need to compete against a guy. I just need to know that I can beat him up. And Felipe is one of those guys. So I know that if I ever actually do compete against Felipe, that I'll just crush him. And he seems to think that prolonging this is going to make it better, but it's not. Like he's either going to have to never compete against me again, or he should have already competed against me a third time, because the longer it goes, the worse it's going to be for him. But I mean, everyone else is pretty much the same. I was supposed to have a match against Verdum. That would be an interesting match because he's so accomplished and enormous. So
Cool.
that'll be fun. But anyone that I haven't fought yet, anyone who's willing to take a match with me, because nobody will actually agree to compete against me now, and anyone who is in my weight class. In my weight class, small to me, big to me, it doesn't make a difference. But anyone who I haven't competed against, or anyone who I haven't submitted yet, or even guys who I have submitted yet, I just want to compete. I've been telling everyone. I told Flo, you know, if you guys want me to do who's number one, I'll do it. Whoever you can get to sign a contract against me, I'll compete against them. So just let me know.
Why do you think that the Danaher Death Squad is so dominant? Like, what makes you guys like just stand out from like the rest of the teams around the world?
We actually know jiu-jitsu.
You think it just comes down to like work ethic?
No, that's not what he's saying.
No.
Like technique? What are you saying? Like,
I didn't hear that.
Although to be fair, we
Okay.
pretty much have everybody in work ethic too.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I mean, number one, we train like professionals. Like, this is our job and our career. We train every day. Whereas most guys just like do camps. Like, I have to do ADCC. I'm going to do an 8-week camp, and they come in to train. Like, most of these guys train like once or twice a week. Like, they're documented saying this in interviews. You can't get better over time like that. Number two, when they do train, they basically just fight to kill each other like they're competing. So they come in like once or twice a week, they train as hard as they can, and then go home. Like, you're not gonna get better like that. Whereas we come in every day, and our goal is to get better at jiu-jitsu, is to learn new moves, perfect mechanics, things like that. So we work on getting better at jiu-jitsu every day, and we actually show up to training. So I think that's why, I mean, guys like, you know, us have been training for a third of the time as everybody else, and we're considerably better. And even when you watch matches, like, it's not like, a lot of times, like, our guys don't lose because they're not as good at jiu-jitsu. They lose because they're not as good at tactics. Like, they just get beaten tactically because we don't practice winning tactical matches in the classroom. We just focus on submitting the guy. We work on getting better at jiu-jitsu. So if you see, like, a lot of our guys, they don't lose because they're going out and getting submitted, or they're going out and they're getting crushed. They just, they go to pull guard, the guy like hits their foot with their foot, and they get 2 points, and then just stalls the rest of the match. So it's not really a technical issue. It's more of just an experience and a tactical issue, and a physicality issue a lot of times when guys go out to compete. But I definitely think that what separates us is the fact that we actually know how to do actual jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, I definitely think that there's a piece of it in terms of like understanding and mechanics. But I say now more than ever, one thing that I really just don't see that often or that much from other groups of individuals training is I really just don't see that much innovation, to be honest. Like, we get together every day and train, and like, you know, Gordon teaches a move, Craig will teach a move, I'll teach a move, Nikki teaches a move. Obviously, John's primarily the one teaching us, but every so often we each like have our little spin, you know, on a particular technique that we're trying to make a little bit better. And like Gordon was saying, like, I don't think these other teams really do that. Like, they come in and they fucking train together, and that's it. They just do their live training. It's like if you were to just try to get better at boxing by just sparring, and you're not ever really working or perfecting any new skills or getting better in any way, shape, or form. It's like, hey, we're just gonna fight every day that we come in, and that's the way that we're gonna get better. And like, yeah, there's some ways to get better like that. I'm not gonna lie, but I think without some level of innovation or improvement of like actual techniques, you start to fall behind after a while. Like, these guys just kind of reach a certain point, right? Once their physicality maxes out, once their general understanding, like the people around them that have the ability to explain to them jiu-jitsu kind of maxes out, it just never improves. They just don't really get any better. They kind of just like have the skills that they have, and they keep going with that. But I think our team is just constantly dynamically changing all the time with the types of things that we're doing, as well as our understanding of what's going on. And I don't think that people put that much emphasis on it in other teams. It's not as it's not as technical of a sport in other teams. It's just more about like fucking. Similar to what you were asking, like, do you think it's just work ethic? It's like, all right, we're just going to train really hard today, you know? But even that, I feel like they're lacking it, you know?
Gotcha.
That's interesting.
Gordon, do you ever see yourself dipping your toes into MMA?
Maybe eventually. John wants me to stick with grappling. And if there's one thing about John that I have to say is that he's been right in literally every aspect of, like, every piece of advice he's ever given me in life has always like worked out. Like everything that he says was going to happen, like in jiu-jitsu, and like, okay, you're first going to start attacking leg locks. There's going to be a hole there. And then once people start to catch on to the leg locks, then you'll start passing their guards, or they'll start attacking your legs. You'll start taking their back. Like everything that he always says is always true. So right now I'm just focusing on jiu-jitsu. I'm still practicing MMA. I'm doing a lot of wall wrestling and stuff like that because occasionally we do compete in cages. But I'm going to do jiu-jitsu for now, and then if at some point, like if, for example, Nikki or Craig or Nicky Rod or one of the other guys or Gary wins the absolute in ADCC, then maybe I'll do it. But right now, like I feel like someone from the team has to take my spot and just like beat the shit out of all the ultra heavyweights before I can move on to something else.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, you obviously have to listen to John. He's a smart man.
He tried to talk Gary out of it, but Gary's too crazy.
Well, Gary's doing
did.
good.
Listen,
I don't know if I
Gary's probably going to be
communicated
fighting
this to
for
you
a
guys.
title soon.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know if I communicated this to you guys before or not. I've done it in other interviews. I really don't think John wanted me to do MMA at all. Like I think that he tried in every way that he could to kind of just like put it off. Like so much so that he like let me and Gordon just like do boxing privates. Like he knew like really was just gonna fucking like make our lives more difficult and not really like get us ready. It really took like me like physically signing a contract to fight someone before John was like, oh, I guess now it's gonna be my responsibility to teach Gary MMA, because if I don't, it's gonna look bad.
You forced his hand.
Yeah.
So what is it? What is it?
Because I had been mentioning it for like years leading up to when I finally did MMA at like 26. I was like, yeah, man, I'm kind of interested in this thing. It's like, when do you think I should fucking start learning like skills around this thing? And he's like, yeah, you know,
Soon.
And like never really gave me like a clear answer.
That's pretty much exactly what happened with my kickboxing coach and me in boxing. I was like, oh, I think I want to box. And he was like, all the kickboxers try that. It doesn't work
You're a
out.
pretty boy. No.
I'm like, no. Well, I was a world champion kickboxer already, but he's like, nah. He's like, all the guys try that. All my world champions done that before. It doesn't really work out. I'm like, yeah, but I'm in my head. I was like, I'm definitely fucking doing it. I just had to figure out my way around.
Gary, so what does John think about you now? Is he like?
Oh, I mean,
proud of you?
once he committed to it, he committed to it. You know, like anything that he does. You know, I think a lot of it comes out of compassion. I think he knows how difficult of a sport mixed martial arts is. I think he's aware of like the different kinds of injuries and things that I have sustained over my career. And I just think he knew it was going to be a much harder life for me than I needed to have. I could have very easily continued to make a very good living grappling. I was already doing it. I still make the bulk of my living grappling. Like, believe it or not, like I have a much better contract now than what I had previously. I'm getting paid well for fighting, but I absolutely get, bar none, make the majority of my living still by teaching grappling, doing my DVDs, fucking all those sorts. Even though I'm not really competing all the time anymore, like I take a match, every once in a while. I'm still making the bulk of my money because of my grappling career. I would say in terms of percentages of money that I've made in my career, like due to MMA compared to grappling, maybe of the whole of money that I've made, maybe MMA would account for 10% of it, something like that. Nice. So like for sure, financially and just well-being wise, not doing MMA was a better option. Like basically, unless I get to like the pinnacle of the sport in MMA, it's going to be kind of like I just did it because I wanted to do it. That's really the main reason. It's not.
Does the one champion get like a substantial pay bump?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like when I win the title,
they pay. They pay.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to be doing much better, and I will say that once that happens, it'll probably be a little different. I think after a few fights and in that pay grade, then it'll start to come closer to evening out, you know. But I didn't have my first 5 fights at that pay grade at all, you know. And even my last fight was much better, but I'm not like, you know, like you had just mentioned, you know, being the, you know, at championship level, yet I'm not fucking making like multi-millions of dollars or anything like that for fighting at all, you know.
Gordon, do you get nervous for this guy when you see him fighting?
I get nervous when I see any of my friends competing.
Yeah.
Like more so, like everyone says, it's like more so than when I compete myself. Like I see one of my friends competing, and I'm like, "Come on, you fucker! Like, get this shit."
Well, especially Gary's last fucking fight. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
That was a fucking
Yeah,
scrap.
dude. How nervous were you in his last fight when Gary was
I mean, his last one,
kind of in a bad spot
round 2.
for a second?
Pretty confident. Gary's hard to do anything to. And like even if you almost knock Gary unconscious, like he just Grambies across the mat and you can't hold on to him. He can't do anything. He can't hit. So it's just like impossible to hold on to or to like make contact with. So it's pretty difficult to deal with. And then once I saw he had, you know, minutes of control in the grappling exchanges, it's kind of hard to come back from that. Like it's just bottom guy's using so much energy to get out. It's hard when you're like 3-4 minutes underneath the guy getting punched, getting nearly submitted, and you have to come back from that now.
All right, Gordon, thanks a lot for doing this, man.
Yeah, of course.
Appreciate it, dude.
My pleasure. Thank you guys for
you're
having
not
me.
feeling great, so we really appreciate you coming on, dude.
For sure, man.
Yeah, man,
Yeah, of
absolutely.
course.
We'll be watching your match, dude. Expecting that.
All right, sounds good. I'll talk to you guys soon.
Cool.
Take care, man.
All right, later, brother.
Yeah.
All right, bro.
You guys.
You know when John's back?
I don't. I'm gonna send him a text. I'll
Okay.
let you know. I sent
Where's
him a
John
text.
at?
He's in
He's
Boston.
filming.
Oh, okay.
I
Gotcha.
move.
All right. Peace
for
out, guys.
No
Good night.
man.
All
No
right,
man. No man. No man. No
We'll call it a draw.
man.
Just a flesh wound. Just a flesh wound. Just a flesh wound.